Hi, my name is Koty'Lechae, and I am a graduate occupational therapy student from Chicago State University. This is my sensory project titled Sensory Unlocked, where I will be discussing the benefits of sensory processing and how meaningful sensory experiences support regulation and participation in everyday activities. Today I'm going to show you some controlled activities where we can stimulate our vestibular system, where it will help increase focus and attention in a safe way. Now, when discussing our proprioceptive system, it's another safety sensory system that tells us where our body is in relation to ourselves, other people, and our environment. The following activities will combine vestibular and proprioception working together. Our next therapeutic piece of equipment would be our saddle swing here. Now, in order to get on the saddle swing, it would require a student to swing one leg over the seat, which demands motor planning, balance, and the ability to shift their weight onto an unstable surface while stabilizing their trunk and gripping the ropes with both hands. Once seated, the saddle position naturally activates your core and inner thigh muscles to maintain an upright posture, providing constant proprioceptive input through the hips, legs, and hands that helps the brain build a better sense of where the body is in space. The movement of the swing simultaneously activates the vestibular system with slow, rhythmic, linear movements, sending calming and organizing signals to the nervous system, while side-to-side or rotary movement provides more alerting input for students who need that type of stimulation. An activity that students can engage in while being seated on the saddle swing could be popping bubbles, which requires them to visually track the bubbles as they float and move through the air. Plan and execute precise finger isolation or bilateral hand movements to pop each bubble, and sustain attention to the task while managing the sensory input from the swing, targeting visual tracking, hand-eye coordination, fine motor control, and oral motor control if the student is also blowing bubbles. The added challenge of maintaining an upright seated position on the saddle swing while visually tracking and reaching for bubbles floating in different directions makes this a highly therapeutic dual task activity that targets sustained attention, postural reactions, core and trunk stability, and the ability to dissociate upper body movements from the lower body stability. Let me show you what this looks like. Remember, you want to swing one leg over so that you can get onto the swing, having both hands at the top of the swing. Okay, now that you're on the swing, you can place both of your feet on the lower pedals and then have both hands holding on. And you can apply a little bit of force, getting yourself in a slower movement. You can do this one-handed, if you're feeling brave with no hands. And this would require the student to reach all around, and yeah, you can make a fun activity out of this. Thank you. Now, when you want to get off of the swing safely, you can stop applying force. You can place both of your feet on the floor, weight shift to the right or to the left, whichever one you prefer. Swing your leg back over and have both feet on the floor. And that's it. Hello again. Our last balance activity would again involve our wide base balance pod that you see here. We would be tall kneeling on our wide base balance pod during a color stack challenge activity that you see here. This activity would target bilateral coordination, postural stability, color identification, and trunk control. In order to get on here safely, we want to make sure that we are engaging our core, that we are slowly lowering down on our knees while on the balance pod, and that we are maintaining our focus throughout this activity. Let me show you what that looks like. You want to start behind the balance pod so that you can safely get on, okay? So you would slowly lower down. You see I have my stable boxes here to help me, okay? I have one hand on the balance pod, shifting my weight to one side, and then I lower my other knee on, using my other hand to help me weight shift as well, okay? So Once you get in a comfortable position, you can tall kneel on the wide base pod here, as you see as I'm doing here, and then we can begin the activity. Now, this activity can be upgraded or downgraded, but for these purposes, I'm simply going to be moving the colors you see here to the other side over here, okay? So I would start by picking up one piece at a time, shifting to one side, to the other hand, excuse me, and then dropping the piece onto the other side, okay? And I would do this until the activity is complete, okay? So I would pick up with the pincer grasp, transfer to the other side, and drop it, okay? While completing this activity, it could target a number of things. Like I mentioned earlier, we are engaging our core to help keep our balance, okay? We're maintaining focus so that we do not lose our balance, as I almost just did there. We also have to focus on and figure out how we would be able to get the pieces up without knocking the whole thing over. Therefore, we would have to incorporate our planning and ideation skills here, planning how we would pick up the piece, transfer it to the other hand, and dropping the piece onto the other side over here, okay? If you would like to have the activity go a little quicker, students can pick up 2 pieces at a time. This would also upgrade the activity because you would be challenging the student to pick up more than 1 piece at a time. And again, we want to be slow and steady, making sure that we are not knocking the whole thing off. Okay. And there you have it. Now, to safely get off of the wide base balance pod, you would like to have something stable to hold on to, okay? Shift all of your weight back. Place your hands on the balance pod, push up, and stand up. Hi friends. Our next balance activity involves individual, smaller balance pods. Now, if you were to stand with 1 foot on each balance pod while pulling the clothespins you see here off of the platform swing, this would target fine motor strength and core activation. Let me show you what that looks like. In order to safely get on the balance pods individually, a student could hold on to the platform swing here for stability, placing 1 foot on a balance pod. They can then swing their other leg over, placing their other foot on the balance pod. Once the student is in a stable, comfortable position, they can either choose to still hang on to the rope, or they can choose to let go. Only once the student feels comfortable can they let go and have no hands holding on. To start the activity, the student should take one of their hands, start doing a pincer grasp using your index and thumb finger to squeeze the clothespin, pull back, and pulling it off. So when you have released the clothespin off of the rope, slowly lower down and place it on the platform swing. Repeat the same action with your right hand. Pincer grasp, index and thumb finger, squeeze the clothespin, pull back, slowly bend the knees, and place it on the platform swing. Continue these repeated steps until you have removed all of the clothespins off of the platform swing. Keeping a nice steady pace so you do not lose your balance. Remembering that to engage your core here. You're engaging your knees, you're engaging your calves, working all of those muscles. Now, to safely get off of the balance pods, a student should hold on, weight shift to one side, take one foot off, and then remove the other foot.